this video will be processing our password reset form on the front end. In the last video, we were able to verify a password reset token, and we were able to create the user interface for either invalid token or valid token. For invalid token, we have something like this, but for valid token, we have the form that is going to ask the user to provide their new password and to also confirm the passwords to ensure that the user is not making mistake in typing out their password, their new password. Okay, but currently as it is now, if you provide let's say if you provide your new password in the form and you try to submit, nothing is going to happen because we've not undid the form filling on the front end. Why we are having this now is because the password reset link has expired. Ordinarily, we are supposed to still have the form, but the reset link has expired, the token has expired. That is why we now have this after submission. Okay, assuming it's a new link. Let's try out a new link. Okay, I'm going to go to my email inbox. All right. Okay, so assume it's a new link now. Okay, so let's provide a new password into the available inputs. Okay, so if I submit, you can see nothing happened because we've not undone that form on the front end. So that is what we'll be doing in this video. Okay, so in reset password form, we're going to be creating a form action. Okay, so to start with, we are going to be importing use action state code. So we're going to have the first, we're going to have this as state. Okay, we're also going to have the what is this? That's the action that we're going to pass down to the form. And we're going to have the ending state. Okay, so we're going to have use action state. So we're going to have a form action, and we're going to have some initial states, not initialized, initial state. Okay, so we're going to be defining of that in a minute. So we need to pass our action into the form. So it's going to be our action. So we're dealing with all of this very soon. Let's first start with our form action. Okay, so at this point we are going to be having an async function. Okay, and we're going to be form action. The first data that we are setting is going to be previous state, which we will not be using. So this is going to be a data type form state. The second parameter is going to be the form data, all right, and it's going to be a data type form data, all right. So first up, before we proceed, let's create our form state. We've done this over and over again, so we don't need to recap all of those. We just need to copy all of them, all right. So we need to retype what we've done over and over again. If you can see in our form, we have new password and confirm password input. That's why we have our password and our confirm password. This one is a new password. Okay, the form state is going to be data and errors, any possible validation error from source. Okay, so this is our initial state. Password is an empty string, and this is an empty string. Okay, now we need to grab our data from the form data. Okay, I'm also going to paste that. There is no need to go over that again. We've done this over and over again. We'll be getting a token from the form data because in our form, see we have a hidden input that is holding the value of our token. Okay, so we also be getting that from our form data, get our password, and we got our confirm password. So at this point, we'll be validating the data that we're getting from the form. So we need to create this reset password schema. All right, so to create this schema, we'll be going to our Zod schema. So okay, now we'll be defining a new schema here. So I'm going to have export. Okay, let me copy the name so that that's a long one down there. All right, so to avoid the typos, let me get rid of all of this. We don't need this for now. Where this env. Okay, so it's going to paste the name. So this is going to be root.object. Okay, we have a token T. All right, we have data type string, expected to be a data type string and minimum, okay, should be outside a minimum of at least one character. And if that is not available, I'm going to pass a custom message token is required. Alright. And also have another field which we are going to put password. Okay. Password is also going to be string minimum of 8 characters, alright. And you can also make modification to this. You can say maximum of 100 characters, even though it is not likely that there will be a user that want to use something that is more than 100 characters as their password. So here I'm going to say password must be at least 8 characters. Okay. And for this, I'm going to say password. Right, so that's going to work for a password. Now we need to confirm password. So I'm going to say password. Okay. Confirm password. We're just going to make this to be string. We are still going to refine this anyway. To refine this, make sure that password is the same as confirm password. We're going to say this is data. We have a callback function there. So we're going to say data.password must be equal to data.confirm password. And if that is not true, then we're going to pass a message here. And we say message passwords to provide the part that is going to carry the error. So I'm going to say that the part should be confirmed as schema. Okay, I'm going to import that. So it's going to validate that. So if the input is not valid, I'm going to input formatted. So there are alongside data and the data sent to us. Okay. Now we need to call a server action. The server action that will be handling our request. Okay, so here we're going to say response. We've done this over and over again. Now I'm going to call the name of the server action, the set password server action, okay, so that it's descriptive, and I'm going to be passing data along. So we're going to say validated fields dot data. Alright. So any response we are getting from the server action, or let's just let's create a dummy server action. Okay, so we're going to go to our options. And so we're going to call this set password. Reset password. Okay, that's TS. So first off, we need to mark this as server action. And I'm going to be exporting as a default into our async function. And the name is going to be set password and reset. So just copy that server action. Action. Okay. So here I'm going to have a raw data, all right, and it's going to I'm going to define the data type from schema. Okay, so we have z.infine, and also this is going to be type of. Okay, then I'm going to have a set password schema. We set here set password schema. Okay, and the return data type for now it's going to be promise. Okay, so it's a sync function. Okay, and then we're going to call the data type action result. I'm going to define that. Don't import that. Alright, I'm going to create a custom action result type for ourselves. So I'm going to say type action result is going to be equal to, so it is either the result is either of this structure, that success is true, and we have a success message. Okay, this is going to be string, alright. Or if success is false, that means if there is an error processing the request, we need to have success to be false. Okay, and if it is false, we're going to have the errors structure. So this is going to be an object. You can just copy this from the front end. So where is our error structure? This is what we have. I'm just going to copy that. Okay, so let's go back to our server action. We're going to follow that here. Okay, so that is going to be the structure of our errors. Okay, and if there is an error, then also going to be returning the data back to the front end. So I just want to copy this data type. Okay, and I'm going to paste that here. All right, so now let's return something from our server action as a dummy response. Okay, so for now, let's say it is successful. So I need to say true, and you need to provide a dummy message. Okay, so I need to say password has been reset successfully. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so let's log data so that error can okay. So now we need to import this in the front end or what is it? Right, so to import that at this point. So after that, we need to check if the processing was successful on the server. So I need to have a save response.sources. Sorry, we need to await this. Okay, response dot sources. So our sources is not true. Okay, if that is not true, then we're going to display a conditional toast to our user. Okay, let me import toast. All right. So if there was an error message, then we display this toast. Okay, and return the error back to the form to persist the okay. But if this part of the code did not execute, that means the password reset was successful. So if it is successful, we are going to be removing the token from the user history. Okay, so I'm going to have window.history.state. All right, so we are going to pass a null here or an empty object, whatever you prefer. You can, as we have null there, you can also pass an empty object code. We're going to work the same way. So we want to replace the whole URL that is containing the token. We want to replace it with just the app name. Okay? So that's going to get rid of it. Okay? So we're going to have window.location, right, then dot path name. Okay, so that's going to get rid of the token from the user history. Okay, and then we're going to display a success toast. All right, so we're going to say password is set successfully. I would say directing to sign in page after the user has reset their password. Then we'll be redirecting the user to the sign in page. Okay, but we're going to be redirecting them after 3 seconds. So we're going to use set timeout to time our redirection. So I'm going to have set timeout. Okay, then we're going to have a callback function. Okay, and then I'm going to provide the duration. So we want to redirect the user after 3 seconds. So inside of this, we're going to be using the router from Next. Should be from Next navigation, but let's wait for that. Okay, so we are going to have router dot push. Going to be router dot push. We are going to provide the URL which is going to be signed in. Okay, so currently this is undefined, so we need to accept this as a parameter in a form action. So we are going to have router. We need to create a data type for it. We are going to call it router instance. Router instance. So I'm going to create that custom data type. Okay, I'm going to have type router instance, which is going to be equal to an object. Okay, so that object we are going to have the push for which we want to use, and the push method is going to be a function that is accepting the path name as an argument. Okay, so the path name is going to be a string, and this is not returning anything, so I'm going to have void there. So we'll be passing the router to perform action as an argument. Okay, so we're going to use that to redirect the user to the sign in page after the seconds. Okay, if you like, you can get rid of this. Yes, it's a single line. All right, I'm going to bring this up here. This can still be on this side here. Now we need to undo the possible errors. Okay, so any error that occur need to be displaying an error dot, because I'm going to say error is an instance of error. If it is an instance of error, then I'm just going to display the error message. Okay, but if it is not an instance of error, I'm going to have the generic message. So I'm going to say this is just going to be a generic message. Okay, and after that, we need to return the data back to the user since an error occurred. Okay, so what I'm going to return going to be data. Okay, and that's going to be raw data. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Now we're done with processing, almost done. We're not done yet. We need to put all of these down to a form. Let's first deal with this. So here we're going to go to a submit button. And we're going to pass a spending to that. Now we need to provide default state to a form. Okay, so this is going to be state dot data dot password. All right, and state is not optional, it is always there. So we're having form state undefined. Okay, we need to pass the router up to a form action. Okay? So to pass that, we're going to bind the router to this form action. Okay, so here let's create a router. Okay, so we're going to have use router from next navigation. Okay, so we need to pass this. We need to bind this form action to with a router. It's going to have null. Okay, I need to have a router, right? Okay, so that's going to bind the router with the form action, right? So we're having this type script here, we have state is possibly undefined. So let's outrightly stipulate the return data type of this form action. So it's going to be promise. Okay, that's going to solve into form state. Okay, now form state is going to be form state. Okay, so we have this error function next and then return statement. So which part of our code are we not returning anything? So sorry, after setting this timeout, we need to return the initial state. That's one of the ways that TypeScript is very helpful. You can see all the potential bugs that TypeScript has got for us. Okay, now we also need to pass dot value to this. So I'm going to have a state that data dot confirm password. Okay, we also need to pass the error prop. Okay, it is the error prop that we are going to use to conditionally render the error paragraph or the error message for any valid input. So I'm going to have error. Okay, so here I'm going to say as a field error, we need to create this function, but we've created it over and over again. So I'm just going to copy that function. All right, I need to write that again to check if the error we are getting from our form action is if it has field input, if it is a field error. So I'm going to pass state dot errors. Okay, so if that is true, we're going to pass password input state dot errors dot password. Okay, we need to have this optional chaining here. So if that is not true, we're going to have undefined. Okay, sorry, this is as field errors. All right, we are dealing with so many bugs. Okay, so now we need to provide conditional styles if there is an error. We're going to have string interpolation. Okay, and so I'm going to have as field errors. So I'm going to also provide state dot errors. Okay, if it is a field error and we have the password imputing the error state dot errors dot password. If all of those are true, then we're going to make the border red rather than gray. We're going to have border red 500. Okay, but if the password input is valid, then I'm going to use the gray border. So let's have a string here. I'm going to put that inside. So we're also going to do same for the confirm password input. So I'm just going to, sorry, we'll be doing this for confirm password. Okay, so then let me just put this here first. This is for password, that one is correct. Then I'm going to put this here. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so this is supposed to be for confirm password. All right. And with that, we're done with processing the form and the front end. Okay, so let's test out a password reset form. Okay, uh, so what is the problem? We need to make a form with the client component. All right, I'm missing that out. It's supposed to be. I've missed that out severally. Okay, so we'll use client. Okay, so that, and we are good with that error. Even though our token is now invalid, it has expired. If expended more than 10 minutes. So everything a user needs to do to reset their password should be done within 10 minutes. It's part of security measures that we need to put in place. So we are going to request for a new password reset link now. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to my inbox. All right, I should have a new. So this is it. I'm going to click on this. Okay, so my token is still valid. I'm going to reset my password. Okay, I'm going to write new password. Okay, so this password must be the same. If they are not the same, I'm going to have error. Okay, you can see passwords do not match. That is the finding we did to our result schema. Okay, so I'm going to make sure they are the same. Then I'm going to reset my password. Okay, so you can see password reset successfully directed to sign in page. And it was redirected after seconds, which was what we did at this point. Okay, and that will be all for this video. In the next video, we'll be handling the password reset on the server, where we are going to be resetting the actual password of the user. Currently, what we have is a dummy server action, so we'll be doing that in the next video. Don't forget to give this video a like. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.